The galaxy had changed. Once stars were busy highways. Ships moved from world to world like fireflies in a warm night. Empires traded, fought, laughed, and lived. But now, everything felt quiet. Too quiet. Trade routes were empty. Old star empires were slowly dying. Planets that once shined bright were now dark or abandoned. And between the systems, strange cold storms traveled like hungry shadows. No one understood these storms. No one knew where they came from. But everyone felt their fear. The human rescue ship Starbound Mercy was one of the few still moving in these silent regions. The ship's mission was simple: help anyone, anywhere. Even during dark times, humans chose to remain a light. Inside the command room, Captain Rhea Morgan watched the empty star map with narrowed eyes. She did not like this silence. "Any signals?" she asked. Lieutenant Aaron, the young communication officer, shook his head. "Nothing, Captain. Just background noise." For hours they had seen nothing but cold space. Then, something changed. A small blinking light appeared on Aaron's console. It was faint, almost invisible. "Captain, wait. I'm getting something." Everyone looked at him. "A distress signal?" Rhea asked. Aaron swallowed. "Maybe. The signal is very weak. Almost frozen." The room grew quieter. Frozen? Signals did not freeze. "Put it on audio," Captain Rhea ordered. Aaron tapped a few keys. For a moment, only static came through the speakers. Then a strange sound flowed into the room. A voice. Not human. It was trembling, shaking, scared. "Help, warmth, please." The whole crew straightened in their seats. "What species is that?" asked Engineer Vale. Aaron shook his head. "Unknown. The pattern doesn't match any known race." The signal cracked again. "Dying, cold, enemy, is the cold." The last words echoed like a whisper in a frozen room. The crew exchanged looks of fear. "The cold?" Vale repeated. "What does that mean? Another storm?" Before anyone could answer, the ship suddenly trembled. Warning alarms beeped sharply. "Captain," shouted the navigator Tessa. "A cold storm just appeared on the scanners. It came out of nowhere." Captain Rhea rushed to her station. On the holoscreen, a massive blue-white cloud moved toward them. The temperature sensors dropped rapidly. "This storm is faster than the last one," Tessa said, her voice shaking. The crew knew what the storms could do. Ships caught inside them rarely survived. Energy drained. Heat disappeared. Life froze. They had two choices: run immediately, or help the unknown voice. Captain Rhea stared at the audio log still playing. "Help, please, warmth." Her jaw tightened. "Where is the signal coming from?" she asked. Aaron checked. "A few jumps away. Near the old Karsus sector. The abandoned one." The Karsus sector was known for one thing: deathly cold storms. "Captain," Tessa whispered, "if we go there, we may not come back." The room fell into a heavy silence. Outside the window, the endless space looked cold and dead. Everyone waited for the captain's decision. Humanity had survived many dangers. Wars. Planet collapses. Alien invasions. But even now, humans still carried something inside them. A fire that refused to go out. "We're a rescue ship," Rhea finally said. "If someone is asking for help, we help." Aaron exhaled. Vale closed his eyes in relief. But the navigator still looked nervous. "The storm will catch us if we stay too long," Tessa said. "We must decide fast." Captain Rhea nodded. "Prepare the jump drive. Put all heat shields at maximum. Everyone strap in." Aaron listened again to the voice on the speakers. It sounded weaker now, like the speaker was whispering from the edge of death. "Warmth, please, anyone." The ship trembled a second time. The storm was getting closer. Captain Rhea stood tall. "Humanity always helps," she said firmly. "That is who we are." The crew felt a spark inside them. Their fear changed into resolve. If someone needed warmth, humans would bring it, no matter how cold the galaxy became. Tessa started the engine warm-up. Lights across the command room turned red. "Jump drive charging," she reported. "Course set for the distress signal." "Engage on my mark," Rhea said. The storm hit their shields, sending blue sparks across the windows. The ship shuddered violently. Temperature dropped. Ice crystals formed at the edges of the glass. "Shields are struggling," Vale shouted. The voice on the audio returned, barely alive. "Help, dying." Captain Rhea raised her hand. "Mark." Tessa slammed the control. The ship shook once more, then exploded into a tunnel of white light as the jump drive activated. The starbound Mercy disappeared into hyperspace, leaving the cold storm behind. Their mission was simple. Find the voice. Bring warmth. Fight the cold. The hook ends with the ship flying toward the unknown, carrying humanity's last fire into the heart of darkness. The starbound Mercy dropped out of hyperspace with a heavy jolt. Lights flickered for a moment before stabilizing. The crew held their breath as the windows cleared and showed the system ahead. It was dead. Not quiet, dead. But cold, empty, and broken, like something had sucked all life out of it. The planet in front of them was covered in thick white storms, swirling slowly like angry ghosts. No city lights. No orbiting ships. No satellite signals. Only ice, wind, and silence. Captain Rhea stared at the world. So this is where the signal came from? Aaron checked the readings. Yes, Captain. The source is on the planet's surface. A research station. Engineer Vale frowned. A research station? Out here? Who would study a place like this? Someone desperate, Rhea answered. The temperature readings were unbelievable. Captain, Tessa whispered, surface temperature is minus 210 degrees Celsius. That was colder than any natural planet should be. That's impossible, Vale muttered. Even dead planets have geothermal heat. Rhea shook her head. Not if the cold storms drained it. Everyone fell silent. The galaxy had rumors about these storms, that they didn't just chill systems, they stole warmth. But no one believed it before. Now the crew looked at the frozen planet and understood. The rumors were true. The ship slowly descended toward the atmosphere. Shields glowed orange as the cold winds hit them like a hammer. The storm is thick, Tessa reported. Visibility is near zero. The view outside was only white fog and ice. Sharp trails of frozen dust scraped across the hull. They're strong, Vale said with worry. If we stay too long, even our systems might freeze. Captain Rhea nodded. Then we move fast. After a few minutes, Aaron spoke. I'm getting a location. The station is on the northern ridge. He tapped a button and a faint outline appeared on the screen, a half-buried metal facility covered in snow. No life signs, he added slowly. But the distress signal is still active. How? Tessa whispered. If no one is alive, who sent it? Rhea didn't answer. Humans had seen enough strange things lately. Assumptions didn't help anymore. Prepare the landing gear, she said. We're going down. The ship landed with a loud crunch on the snowy ground. The temperature warning flashed red. Captain, Vale said, we cannot open the doors without heaters ready. The outside cold can kill us in seconds. Rhea nodded. Everyone suit up. The rescue suits were thick, glowing orange with internal heat units. They put them on quickly. The airlock hissed open, releasing a wave of biting cold. The crew stepped outside. Even through the suits they felt the freezing sting. Everything was white. The wind howled like an animal. The station entrance was half blocked by frozen sand. Cut the ice, Rhea ordered. Vale used a portable heat cutter. Steam rose as he sliced through the frozen layers. After a minute, the metal door appeared. Aaron wiped frost off the keypad. No power, he said. Door won't open. Rhea stepped forward. Manual override. They pushed together until the thick door finally groaned and slid open. The inside was dark. Cold air rushed out like a silent scream as if the station itself was begging them not to enter. We go in, Rhea said. The lights on their suits lit the hallway. Frozen pipes, cracked screens, icicles hanging from the ceiling. Aaron shivered. It looks abandoned, like years abandoned. But that didn't make sense. The distress signal was only 20 minutes old. Captain, Vale whispered. Look at the walls, they're frost-burned. He touched a surface, it crumbled like ash. What did this? Aaron asked with fear in his voice. Rhea didn't know, but she had a bad feeling. They walked deeper inside. After a few minutes, Aaron stopped suddenly. Captain, I'm hearing something. They paused. A soft, broken sound echoed through the hallway. Help. The same voice from the distress signal. Aaron pointed toward a door on the right. Behind that. Rhea stepped forward and forced it open. Inside was a small room filled with frozen equipment, and 3 aliens lying on the floor. Their skin was pale blue, covered in frost. Their eyes were closed, bodies unmoving. Tessa gasped. They're dead. Aaron kneeled beside one. No, look. They're alive. Just very cold. Rhea's heart tightened. They're freezing to death. The smallest alien, a thin creature with glassy scales, opened its eyes weakly. It looked at the humans like it didn't believe what it was seeing. Warmth? It whispered. Aaron quickly brought out the portable heater. Warm air spread across the room. The aliens' bodies twitched. Slowly their eyes opened wider. One of them spoke with a shaking voice. "You are warm." Rhea nodded gently. "We're here to help." The alien tried to sit up but failed. "We warned the galaxy, but no one listened." Tessa asked quietly, "Warned about what?" The alien's eyes filled with fear. "The cold," it whispered. "It kills stars, drains planets, devours heat." The wind outside screamed louder, pressing against the walls like claws. Aaron felt his blood turn cold. "So the storms, they're alive?" "Not alive," the alien said. "But they hunt the living." The crew exchanged terrified looks. The alien pointed a shaky finger toward the window. "It is coming." As if answering the voice, the temperature dropped sharply. Lights flickered. Ice formed instantly on the metal wall. Vale shouted, "Captain, a cold storm is closing in on us." Rhea grabbed her calm. "All crew back to the ship. Move." But before they could leave, the small alien grabbed Rhea's hand. "Please, don't leave us, we will die." Rhea looked at her crew. Fear on their faces. Storm approaching fast. Time running out. Humans could run. Or humans could save them. Rhea lifted the alien gently. "We're not leaving anyone behind." The crew carried the survivors and ran toward the exit as Frost chased them down the halls. Behind them, the cold storm hit the station with a deafening roar. The race for survival had begun. The starbound Mercy raced upward through the icy atmosphere, engines shaking under the brutal force of the cold storm chasing them. The white clouds swirled like claws trying to grab the ship and pull it back down to the frozen world. Inside the cargo bay, the rescued aliens lay wrapped in thermal blankets. Their bodies trembled, fighting to return to life. The crew worked fast, placing heaters around them, giving warm liquid packs, checking pulses. Captain Rhea stood beside the smallest alien, the one who first whispered for warmth. The creature's skin was slowly turning from pale blue to a softer shade, showing that the heat was working. Aaron checked the readings. "They're stabilizing, barely." The ship shook again as the storm hit them. Vale shouted from the intercom, "Captain, the storm is gaining speed. If we don't break atmosphere now, the engines might freeze." "Push them harder," Rhea replied. "Get us to orbit." The engines roared. The ship punched through the last thick layer of clouds. For a moment, nothing but white light filled the windows. Then, suddenly, the sky cleared. Black space. Stars. Freedom. The crew exhaled in relief. But their relief did not last long. Because the cold storm was still rising behind them, climbing into space like a giant frozen wave. In the medical bay, warmth slowly returned to the alien survivors. Their breathing eased. Their fingers twitched. One by one their eyes opened. The tallest alien, with crystal-like fins on its head, sat up weakly. Its voice was rough. Where are we?" "On a human rescue ship," Rhea said gently. "You sent a distress signal." "We answered." The alien blinked with confusion. "Humans answered? No other species came?" Rhea shook her head. "No. Only us." The alien looked down, almost ashamed. "That is not surprising." Tessa stepped forward. "What? Why wouldn't anyone come?" The alien's eyes filled with sadness. "Because the galaxy is afraid." The aliens introduced themselves as Karenites, a species known for studying extreme cosmic environments. Their research team had come to this sector to investigate rising temperature drops. They believed they had found simple weather patterns. But they were wrong. The small alien, the youngest of the three, spoke next, his voice fragile but clearer. "The cold is not a storm. Not wind. Not ice. It is a force." Aaron frowned. "A force? Like gravity?" The young Karenite shook his head. "No. It is a feeder. A devourer. It eats heat, energy, and life." Rhea crossed her arms. "Explain from the beginning." The tall alien nodded. "We discovered stars in this region dying faster than natural cycles. Their heat faded from the inside. Planets became frozen in days. Entire systems lost power, warmth, everything." Vale whispered, "But why would a storm do that?" The alien answered with a trembling breath. "Because the cold storms are not storms. They are the movement of the void chill." The room fell silent. Tessa repeated softly, "Void? Chill?" The Karenite nodded. "It is an ancient cosmic phenomenon. Not alive, not dead. Not a creature, not a machine. Something in between. It flows through space, feeding on warmth. Feeding on life force. Feeding on stars." Aaron swallowed hard. "So it's hunting?" The tall alien answered with a slow nod. Yes, and it is getting stronger. It grows each time it consumes warmth. The younger alien added. And it sensed us. We tried to escape. We failed. The crew exchanged worried looks. Rhea asked, if it keeps feeding, what happens? The tall Karenite lowered his gaze. Eventually, the galaxy turns cold. The ship suddenly shook. Art. Vale's voice came through the speakers. Captain. The cold storm is entering orbit. It's chasing us. Rhea ran to the nearest console. The scanner showed a terrifying sight. The massive white-blue cloud was rising off the planet, reaching for them like a hand made of ice. Vale shouted again, it's following our heat trail. The engines are too warm, it's drawn to them. Aaron stared at the screen with disbelief. It's tracking warmth? Like an animal? The young alien spoke again. Yes. The void chill senses any heat in the dark. It hunts anything alive. The ship trembled violently as another wave of cold energy hit the shields. Frost crawled across the outer cameras. We can't outrun it, Tessa said quietly. It's faster than it should be. Rhea thought fast. Vale, divert heat from the engines to the outer radiators. Make a false heat trail. Vale hesitated. Captain, that will cool our engines too much. Just do it. Vale obeyed. Within seconds, the heat signature of the starbound Mercy weakened, and a long, bright trail of heat shot out in the opposite direction. The cold storm changed course, following the false trail. The scanner blinked. It's working. Tessa shouted. It's chasing the decoy. Everyone breathed again. But their relief was fragile. Aaron asked the aliens, why did no other species come to help you? The tall Karenite sighed. We warned the galaxy, but they did not want to hear us. Some said our data was fake. Others feared attracting the cold. And most simply did not care. Rhea clenched her jaw. That's not how humans work. The young alien stared at her. Yes, we know that now. After the storm drifted away, the ship finally entered a safe orbit. In the quiet moment that followed, the Karenites told the final and most terrifying truth. The tall alien spoke slowly, as if choosing each word carefully. There is something you must understand, humans. The void chill does not come without purpose. It comes because something else woke it. Rhea narrowed her eyes. What woke it? The alien answered. A collapse. Somewhere far away, deep in space, a star died unnaturally. Something tore it apart from the inside. That awakened the chill. Vale muttered, so something even worse exists out there? The alien nodded. We were trying to find the cause before the galaxy froze. But we failed. Our station fell. Our team died. The young one looked at Rhea. But you came. You answered. No one else ever does. Rhea gently placed a hand on the alien's shoulder. That's because humans don't leave anyone behind. The ship shook again, softly this time. Vale's voice returned, tight with stress. Captain, the chill is moving again. And this time, it's not following a heat trail. Aaron gasped as he read the scanner. It found our escape direction. It's learning? Tessa whispered, voice filled with dread. The void chill is coming for us. Rhea stood tall. Then we'll face it. Together. Because this was humanity's nature. When darkness rose, humans lit a fire. The starbound Mercy flew through the cold darkness with engines burning at maximum power. But even at full speed, the crew felt the heavy presence of the void chill behind them, like something ancient and hungry was crawling through space, following their warmth. In the command room, alarms flashed again and again. Vale's voice cracked through the intercom. Captain, the chill is closing distance. It's adapting to our heat traps. Aaron stared at his console, disbelief filling his eyes. It's learning too fast. We can't escape if it keeps reading our heat signature. Captain Rhea stood in the center of the bridge, her jaw tight and her mind racing. What are our options? Vale answered first. We can fight. Use the heat cannons. Tessa turned sharply toward him. That will barely slow it. And firing heat will make us an even bigger target. Aaron added, we need something stronger, something the chill cannot ignore. Captain Rhea looked toward the rescued Karenite aliens. The young one, weak but alert, slowly lifted his head. You humans have fusion cores, he said softly. Those are powerful, bright, warm. If you release enough heat, the chill will be forced to retreat. Vale frowned deeply. Release heat? How much? The alien answered quietly. More than you can safely handle. The crew exchanged worried looks. Rhea made her decision. Prepare the fusion cores for overload, but controlled. Just a surge, not an explosion. Vale hesitated. Captain, if we get the calculations wrong, we might blow ourselves up. Ria's voice remained calm. If we do nothing, the chill will freeze us anyway. Silence fell. No one argued after that. Humans had never backed down from a threat. Not in wars. Not against impossible odds. Not even against the cold death of space. While Vale and Tessa worked on the core control, Aaron focused on tracking the chill. It's still coming, he reported. The temperature in its path is dropping. Nearby asteroids, they're freezing solid. On the screen, a cluster of small rocks turned into bright white crystals and shattered. Tessa whispered, space itself is turning to ice. The tall Karenite watched with haunted eyes. That is the nature of the void chill, he said. It does not simply freeze. It erases heat, life, and memory. Entire star systems vanish. Aaron turned to him. Is there any weakness? The alien inhaled slowly. Yes. Bright heat shocks confuse it. The chill senses the galaxy through temperature. If something suddenly releases massive warmth, it becomes blind. Vale raised his voice from the engineering deck. Captain, the fusion core surge is ready. It'll last maybe 30 seconds. Ria nodded. Bring us to a full stop. Tessa's eyes widened. Full stop? Captain, if we stop, the chill will reach us faster. That's the point, Ria replied. We need it close for the surge to hit it. Aaron whispered, we're letting it catch up? Ria took a deep breath. Yes. We face it head-on. The ship slowed. The engines dimmed. The trail of warmth behind them faded. And in the distance, the void chill appeared. At first it looked like a mist, a white-blue cloud drifting slowly. Then it grew larger, swirling like a living storm. The temperature on the bridge dropped. Frost formed on screens. Tessa rubbed her hands even inside the heated suit. It's so cold it hurts. Aaron's breath turned visible. It's like it's reaching inside the ship. The Karenites huddled closer to the heaters. Even they trembled at the sight. It is hungry, the youngest said in a shaking voice. But Captain Ria remained steady. Vale. On my mark. The void chill closed in. Closer. Closer. Filling the window like an ocean of ice. Everyone felt it. A pressure. A shadow. A chill deeper than death. Ria raised her hand. Mark. Vale triggered the fusion surge. The ship exploded with light. Not weapon light, but warmth. A wave of golden heat burst out in every direction. It washed over the void chill like fire over snow. The storm writhed. It twisted. It shrank back as if burned. On the screen, the white cloud flickered and shook violently. Tessa shouted, it's working. The chill is breaking formation. Aaron pumped a fist. It's retreating. We did it. But Vale's voice came urgently from below. Captain. The core is overheating. We must shut down the surge now. Do it. Ria ordered. The heat wave faded. The golden glow dimmed. The ship fell quiet, its systems flickering, some smoking. And the void chill drifted backward, far away. Tessa sighed deeply. We scared it off. The young alien shook his head. No, you didn't scare it. You confused it. Temporarily. Aaron frowned. So it'll come back? The alien nodded slowly. It always comes back. Ria sat down heavily in the captain's chair. Then we need a bigger solution. Something permanent. The tall Karenite spoke next. There is something. In our research, we found one possible way. Every eye turned toward him. He continued. The void chill cannot survive near supernova-level heat. If a star explodes while the chill is feeding, it might destroy the phenomenon completely. Tessa blinked. Supernova? You mean, a whole star must die? The alien nodded. A dying star can be forced to collapse with enough energy, enough heat. Vale rejoined the bridge, wiping sweat and frost from his face. You're suggesting we blow up a star? The Karenite's fins fluttered. Yes. Aaron looked stunned. That's insane. Insane, Ria said, but possible? The alien answered. Yes. But someone must go close enough to trigger the collapse. Anyone there will not survive the blast. The bridge fell silent again. No one spoke. No one breathed. Because that meant sacrifice. Slow, painful sacrifice. Human sacrifice. Finally Ria stood up. Show me the star, she said. The Karenite opened a hologram map. A nearby star burned weakly, red and swollen. A dying giant. One strong push and it would explode. Aaron asked quietly, Captain, are we really doing this? Ria looked at him with calm eyes. The cold is getting stronger. If we don't stop it now, billions will freeze. Whole species will vanish. Tessa's voice was soft. And humanity? Rhea smiled sadly. Humanity will burn bright even if the galaxy turns cold. That was the human way. When darkness rose, humans lit the fire. She turned to the crew. We set course for the dying star. Vale took a deep breath. Aye, Captain. The Karenites stared at the humans, astonished. You would risk everything? The youngest whispered. Rhea answered with a quiet, steady voice. For life? For warmth? For the galaxy? She nodded once. Yes. The engines roared to life. The starbound Mercy began its journey to light the final flame. The storm did not stop. It grew. It spread. And every hour, more systems in the galaxy went silent. Humans on the starbound Mercy watched the star map with fear. Red marks showed the places where the cold had already eaten the stars. Blue marks showed the living systems still fighting. And the worst part, the red marks were spreading faster. Inside the ship, the atmosphere was heavy. People spoke less. They moved carefully. No one wanted to disturb the quiet because the quiet felt dangerous. Even Lyra's people, the Thaurine who once lived in warm oceans and shining cities, stayed close together. They feared the dark and the cold more than anyone. And now the cold was hunting them. The humans prepare. Captain Arlen stood in the command bay looking at the star charts. The cold is pushing toward the heart of the galaxy, he said. It will reach the Thaurine homeworld in maybe 4 days. 4 days. A whole species had only 4 days left unless someone fought back. Chief Engineer Mara shook her head. We don't even understand the cold, she said. We can't shoot it. We can't block it. We can't talk to it. We can warm it, Dr. Hale answered quietly. Everyone turned toward him. What do you mean? The captain asked. The doctor pointed to Lyra who stood beside him. When the cold touched her, it did not attack her memories or her body like a normal virus or weapon. It tried to freeze her energy, her life warmth. But when we applied strong human heat, it retreated. Retreated? The captain said. Yes, Hale nodded. For the cold, warmth is pain. The room became silent. Warmth. Humans had always survived with fire, with heat, with stubborn life. And now that same warmth might save others. A dangerous plan. The captain took a long breath. So you're saying, we fight the cold with heat? Not only heat, Hale said. We fight it with human life. Human courage. Human connection. Everyone frowned. Hale continued. The cold is a mind. It spreads fear, isolation, and silence. But humans do the opposite. We connect. We help. We reach out. Our warmth is more than temperature. It is our nature. Lyra stepped forward. My people, we lost hope. We stopped believing we could be saved. But your warmth, your kindness, gave us strength again. The cold hates that. Mara crossed her arms. So what do we do? Hug the cold until it dies. The room laughed softly for the first time in days. No, Hale said. We build something new. A beacon of warmth. A beacon? Arlen asked. Yes. A massive device that spreads human energy, heat, sound, emotion, across space. Not a weapon. A signal. A message of life. Captain Arlen smiled slowly. A message saying we are here. We fight the dark together. Lyra's eyes glowed. My homeworld can host the beacon. We have old energy towers. They can be changed. The captain nodded. Then we fly to the Thaurine homeworld. Everyone turned back to the star map. The cold storm was already there, waiting. The journey through darkness. The starbound Mercy jumped through warped space, pushing its engines to dangerous limits. The ship groaned. Panels shook. The lights flickered as the cold storm's influence spread into the warp. Mara shouted from engineering. Engines overheating. I need 10 seconds. You'll get 5, the captain replied. The ship burst out of warp only a few million kilometers from the Thaurine homeworld. They expected to see oceans, cities, lights, but everything was frozen. The world below looked like a dead pearl. And above it, a massive cold cloud hovered like a hungry moon. The cold spoke again. No words, only pressure, only silence that pushed inside the mind. Some crew members held their heads. Some fell to their knees. But humans endured it. They always endured. Lyra whispered, her voice shaking. It wants us to leave. It wants us to surrender. Arlen stood tall. Humans don't run from the cold. He pointed forward. Take us into orbit. We start building the beacon now. Building the beacon. The work was difficult. They had only hours before the cold completely consumed the planet. The Thaurine helped the humans connect old energy towers with human fusion cores. Mara led the engineering teams, shouting commands over the comms. Move the plasma conduits. Bring the heat stabilizers. Do not touch the glowing parts, unless you enjoy burning. Despite the danger, the humans worked fast. The Thaurine watched with shock. Humans were not strong like giant species. They were not fast like winged species. They were not psychic like star minds. But they were something else. Relentless. Warm. Alive. Even as the cold cloud moved closer, humans did not stop. The cold attacks. The sky darkened. The cold cloud expanded like a falling night. It reached the upper towers of the beacon and froze them instantly. Lyra shouted. It's draining the energy. We will lose the towers. Arlen slammed his fist on the control table. Send all human heat reserves into the system. Use every emergency heater, every reactor coil, every thermal suit. Mara yelled. That will burn out the cores. Then we burn them. Arlen roared. Burn everything we have. For a second, everyone froze at his words. Then, they obeyed. Because humans always lit the fire when darkness came. The beacon awakens. Heat poured into the towers. The metal glowed red. Energy surged. The cold cloud screamed, not with sound but with a psychic shriek felt in every mind. The beacon rose like a pillar of fire, shooting a wave of warmth into the sky. Not just heat, emotion. Human courage. Human stubbornness. Human hope. And for the first time since it appeared, the cold moved back. It recoiled. It trembled. It cracked like breaking ice. Lyra gasped. It is afraid of us. Arlen whispered. No, not afraid of us. Afraid of what we are. Warm. Alive. Unbroken. Human. The beacon did not stop shining. Its warmth rose from the Thaurine homeworld like a second sun, cutting through the dark and pushing the cold cloud away. For a brief moment, everyone on the starbound Mercy believed they had won. But hope ended too quickly. The cold was not a simple storm. It was not wind. It was not ice. It was alive. And now, it was angry. A new shape in the darkness. Sensors screamed as the cold cloud pulled itself together, forming a shape, huge, towering, more like a creature than a storm. A long shadow stretched across space, and two enormous empty eyes appeared, glowing with pale blue light. Lyra trembled. It has taken a form. It is focusing itself. Captain Arlen stared at the monstrous shape approaching the planet. So this is the real enemy. Dr. Hale nodded slowly. The cold has intelligence. It learned from us. It knows we can hurt it now. The giant cold being moved closer, spreading its shadow across the towers of the beacon. And then it spoke, not with voice but directly into their minds. Warmth must end. Life must stop. The galaxy must sleep. The crew felt a wave of fear. But humans had something stronger. They had the will to fight. Humans refused silence. Arlen stood tall, refusing to let the pressure break him. He shouted into the comm systems. All hands to battle stations. We protect the beacon at any cost. Mara tightened her gloves. Well, Captain, I guess we're fighting a giant ice ghost today. Hale exhaled. Let's hope human insanity counts as a weapon. Lyra watched them, amazed. Her people would have run. Other species would have surrendered. But humans? They laughed at danger. They joked with fear. They looked the cold in the eyes and said, not today. The cold strikes. The giant cold being swept its massive arm across the sky, sending a wave of freezing energy toward the beacon. Towers cracked. Ice spread like white veins across the metal. The warmth weakened. The light dimmed. The cold spoke again. Return to silence. Return to stillness. Crew members on the planet fell to their knees, holding their heads from the psychic pressure. Thaurine soldiers collapsed as their minds filled with fear. But the humans kept moving. Even when their suits froze. Even when their breath turned into snow inside their helmets. Even when their hands shook from the cold. They kept fighting. A plan born from madness. Mara's voice came through the comms, shouting over the storm. Captain, the beacon is losing power. We need something bigger, much bigger. What do you have in mind? Arlen asked. Something stupid, Mara answered. Something extremely human. That's perfect, the captain replied. Mara explained quickly. We overload the ship's reactor and link it directly to the beacon. Not just heat, raw human energy. Enough to melt a mountain. Hale's eyes widened. That could destroy the ship. It will destroy the ship, Mara corrected. Arlen paused. Losing the starbound Mercy meant losing their only way off the planet. Losing their home in the stars. Losing everything. But if they didn't, the galaxy would freeze. Arlen nodded. Do it. The ship gives its heart. The crew rushed to the starbound Mercy. Heat coils glowed bright. Warning alarms filled every hallway. Mara placed her hands on the reactor controls, whispering, "All right, old girl. Time to show the galaxy what humans are made of." The engines roared. The core brightened. The ship shuddered like it was in pain. Energy surged from the ship into the beacon towers. Lyra watched the humans sacrifice their only home without hesitation. She whispered, "You burn your own ship, just to save strangers?" Arlen answered calmly, "That's what being human means." The final clash. The cold being sensed the new power. It screamed. A terrible, silent scream that made the air vibrate. The monster hurled another wave of cold energy toward the towers. Ice cracked. Towers bent. The beacon almost collapsed. Arlen shouted, "Hold the line. Hold." Humans formed a shield around the base of the beacon, firing thermal cannons and heat grenades into the cold wave. Lyra and the Thaurine joined, inspired by the humans' courage. The beacon's light flickered. Dim. Then, boom. The full power of the starbound Mercy's reactor merged with the beacon. Light exploded upward, bright as a star. A shockwave of warmth ripped across the planet. The cold being recoiled. Shattered. Its body cracked like breaking glass. It tried to speak again. Warmth cannot win. But the beacon roared louder. The wave of human energy struck the cold being directly. And it screamed in agony. Cracks spread across its massive form. Light pierced through the fractures. And then, the giant cold being exploded into a billion shards of frost, which vanished into nothing. The night sky became clear. The cold retreated. The planet warmed. Silence ended. Life won. But victory has a price. The beacon still shone, alive. But the starbound Mercy was gone. Burned to protect the galaxy. Lyra looked at the wreckage falling through the sky and whispered, "The humans, they gave everything." Arlen placed a hand on her shoulder. "Not everything," he said. "We are still here. And as long as humans live, warmth will live." The cold was hurt, but not dead. And the galaxy was waiting. The cold had been pushed back. The beacon on the Thaurine homeworld still glowed like a rising sun, filling the sky with warm golden light. Humans and Thaurine stood together, breathing heavily, staring at the empty space where the cold being had existed only moments ago. The galaxy had been seconds from death. But humans refused to let darkness win. They gave their ship. They gave their strength. They gave their warmth. And now, the galaxy was alive. But the battle was not the end. It was only the beginning. The aftermath of sacrifice. The remains of the starbound Mercy fell gently through the atmosphere like bright pieces of fire. Some parts burned away in the sky. Some hit the cold ground with soft thuds. The humans watched them fall. It was not just metal. It was their home. It was their history. It was everything they carried across the stars. Captain Arlen stood with his crew on a tall frozen ridge, watching the final light of their ship disappear. His voice was calm, but his eyes were heavy. "She carried us farther than any map," he said. "And she died saving millions." Mara placed a hand on her tool belt. "She always liked dramatic endings," she whispered. Dr. Hale exhaled deeply. "We'll honor her. But now we must help the planet recover." Lyra stepped forward. "You humans, you did not just save us. You saved hope." Arlen looked at her gently. "No. We fought because someone needed help. That is enough for humans. The cold is not gone." Even as they spoke, the beacon flickered. Just a little. Just for a moment. Dr. Hale noticed it first. "The cold isn't dead," he said quietly. Everyone froze. Lyra asked, "You mean, it will return?" Hale nodded. "It was wounded. Broken. But something like that, it will reform. Maybe months from now. Maybe years. But it will come back." Silence filled the group. Until Arlen spoke. "Good," he said simply. "We'll be ready." Rebuilding the Thaurine world. Work began the next morning. Humans and Thaurine walked through frozen cities, searching for survivors, repairing broken buildings, and restoring heat to old structures. Human engineers taught the Thaurine how to build thermal shields and smaller warmth beacons. Thaurine children looked at humans with wonder. Some touched their hands, surprised by the constant warmth in human skin. To them, humans looked like beings of fire walking through ice. Lyra watched all of this and realized something powerful. Her people were not just saved. They were changed. Humans had given them courage again. A message to the galaxy. After several days, Arlen called his crew to the beacon control tower. It was time to send a signal across the stars. The cold had hit dozens of civilizations. Many believed humanity was gone. Many believed help would never come. But now humanity had a message. Arlen stood before the great glowing pillars, speaking in a calm, strong voice. He pressed the transmission panel. "This is Captain Arlen of the Starbound Mercy. The cold can be fought. It can be stopped. Stay alive. Stay warm. We are coming." The beacon carried the message thousands of light years away. In dark corners of the galaxy where people hid in fear, they heard it. And they knew. Humans were still fighting. A new alliance. Grand councils from nearby systems soon responded. They sent ships, small, damaged, scared ships, but ships filled with survivors. They landed on the Thaurine homeworld, seeking help, guidance, and warmth. The planet that had been frozen and dying only days ago now became a center of unity. Humans worked with alien species they had never even seen before. Together they built smaller beacons to protect nearby systems. Together they studied the cold, learned its patterns, its weaknesses, its slow movements through the void. And at the center of everything, the humans led the effort. Because humans had something no other species had. They turned survival into hope. They turned fear into courage. They turned warmth into a weapon. The ceremony of light. One evening, as the light of the beacon shone softly across the planet, the Thaurine held a great ceremony. They called it the Night of Warmth. Thousands gathered around the beacon towers. Fires were lit. People shared food. Children sang. The sky shimmered as the planet's atmosphere warmed again, melting long-dead ice. Lyra stepped onto the stage, holding a crystal shaped like a flame. She raised it toward the humans. "This is our greatest honor," she said. "We call it the Heartstone. It is given only to those who bring life to a dying world." She handed it to Captain Arlen. "For saving us, for saving our future, we thank you." Arlen accepted it with a soft nod. "We didn't come to be heroes," he said. "We came because someone needed help. And because that is what humans do." The crowd cheered. Warm light filled the night. A new mission begins. Later, on a quiet hill, Arlen spoke with Mara, Hale, and Lyra. "The galaxy is not safe yet," he said. "The cold will rise again. And we don't have a ship." Mara smirked. "Not yet, we don't." Hale nodded. "Other species are sending their best engineers. We can build something better. Stronger." Lyra looked at the sky, glowing with beacon light. "Then we will rebuild your ship," she said softly. "And together, we will chase the cold. We will not wait for it to strike again." Arlen smiled. A new purpose burned in his eyes. "A new ship," he said, "with a new name." "What name?" Mara asked. Arlen looked at the beacon. "The Starbound Warmth," he said. "A ship that carries fire into the dark." Lyra smiled. Hale nodded. Mara punched the air. And the galaxy gained something it had not seen in centuries. A reason to hope. The final message. That night, the beacon sent out one more signal. Not a warning. Not a cry for help. But a promise. Darkness will return. But humans will return too. And wherever the cold spreads, warmth will follow. Across the galaxy, survivors lifted their heads. They listened. They believed. Because humans were coming. And humans brought the warmth.